Welcome to our studio. We talk again about hotel business, and I welcome Mr. Martin Schaffer from MRP Hotels. Welcome. I have one big question. Since we are a bank, I would like to know, what can we do better in your business?
I think it's the different parts in this answer, or in this relationship between the hotel owner and the bank. First of all, I think it is necessary to see that the hotel is not is a real estate, but it's also a hotel business.
Right.
And I think that people working in banks should have more sensitivity in let's say the specifics of the hotel business. It's not only renting 20 years and hotel real estate to an hotelier, but it's also a people's business. What is very important.
What would that mean in concrete steps?
Means that is, from my point of view, not only the only way in sitting on the desk in Prague, in Budapest, or in Vienna, but it's also necessary to go into the hotel, into the hotel, seeing the people who are working there, talking to the general manager, talking to the operator, talking to the owner, and getting more know-how about the real estate, how it is working. What is very essential or very crucial in a crisis times, or in times where revenues or profits are going down, to know what is going on in the hotel, how is it working, and how is it structured, where are the problems, where are necessary investments. I think it's better to get a more intensive and in-depth know-how about the real estate. This is what we see very often in banks, that let's say the person who is in charge for the respective hotel has not been there, does not know how it looks like, it's no feeling for the hotel. This is one very important point from my point of view.
So the real thing would be, if we have more knowledge about a certain project, then we will have more trust when things get difficult, and we would be more patient. Is that the point?
I would definitely see that so, because we see it especially in Central European markets who are not that stable, like established market like Munich or like Frankfurt or like Zurich. Markets like Bucharest or Prague, who are going up and going down, to get more trust in the real estate, to get more trust in the management team who is working there, and to get more trust in the hotel operator who is working there. What is very necessary in case you have a management contract where let's say the economic risk is divided between two parties. And I think this would be very helpful in crisis times. Yes, definitely.
Okay, I mean, the bank is in a difficult situation because we have to pull the trigger. You know, banks and Basel III, and we have to be very careful with evaluations changes. So it's a tricky thing for banks, I would say. But I see that point. Now, within this, just one thing on the triangle between investor, operator, and bank. Do you think it's efficient? And do you think that, since we talked about returns basically before, do you think that the risk is diversified fairly?
What we currently see, that there is put more and more pressure on the lessee or on the operator in the hotel industry, because the acquisition of the hotel real estate.
Sorry, what does LC stand for?
The lessee, the Pächter.
Oh, right.
Yes.
The lessee. Oh, right.
Yes. That there's more and more pressure on the lessee, because the acquisition of the whole hotel real estate gets more and more expensive, and the hotel lessee has to earn more and more money, and the bank and investors are asking for higher leases, and I see the danger that the hotel lessee is not in the position to earn this necessary amount of money to pay back the agreed lease on the next 20 years. So the pressure on earning the lease is getting higher and higher, and it's getting more and more risk on the hotel lessee.
And it's an interesting thing, because we talked to investors before, talked to operators before, and we have our banking view, and you are kind of, you're not the neutral partner in this. And what you're actually saying is, if I understand it correctly, that the bank has to take more risk in a certain way.
It should take the right,
or a bit more flexible.
Yes, it should be more flexible. It's not a question of fixed leases. It's a question of hybrid leases. It's a combination of a fixed lease and then lease based on turnover, on the GOP, or on the net operating income, however you would like to structure these.
So it's not necessarily more risk, but smarter risk.
Yes, definitely. It's a new form of lease contracts are necessary, and I think it's not only the bank but also the investors, the German and Austrian investors. They are asking for leases. I think this will be different in Central Eastern European markets, where we see mostly management contracts. There stays the risk with the owner of the hotel real estate, because international hotel companies or also small and medium-sized German hotel companies do not guarantee leases in Central Eastern European countries.
Okay, one question is, do you see projects where the bank pulling the trigger too early actually destroyed the project that would otherwise run fine, maybe a little later?
There is actually one where we see that, because the bank is insisting on one brand in the financing or in the loan contract, but the risk is with the owner of the hotel real estate, I do not know why the bank is insisting on this, let's say, on this brand, and now it's putting pressure on the owner of the real estate to put in some money to fulfill his obligation versus the bank.
Okay, so I take it with me, banks have to become smarter?
Definitely.
Okay, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks for your time. See you around. Okay, now I have a very, very last question, and this is, and be honest, how do we as Erste Bank doing all this?
My answer is very honest, and it's not paid, and it was not agreed before. We see the Erste Bank is a very experienced bank in the hotel business, compared to big Austrian central banks. The Erste Bank has definitely one of the let's say, the most valuable understanding of the hotel business, and very often knows what is happening in the hotel. It is giving also some trust to the owners, trust to the managers, trust to the lessees, and is also looking into the next 5, 10, 15 years when we have to ask a question about additional loans or capital for refurbishments. The Erste Bank is in very good understanding of the hotel business and the hotel industry, compared to several other banks dealing with hotel projects.
Let's leave it like that. I don't want to take this any further, because as a bank you don't get this kind of comment very often.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you for your time. See you around.